Anton, going back to your point of like Oktoberfest too, is and trying to get into the nuances is like taking a much more zoomed out look at that performance was a part of this kind of greater plan that we had developed around their album, and just we. I'd learned my lesson with the content component of it. Like when Sidereal got to play Oktoberfest, and I think it was probably 2015 with the Expendables, massive crowd.
I remember
but we
seeing
captured that footage and like, we've been doing this a similar kind of workshop podcast in the last few weeks, and I had Tim Hall on last week, and he brought this up, was like, man, once you guys had that content, it like elevates. It just elevated the band to this kind of next level, and not that anything actually had changed, but like we had captured that moment and people could see what that was. So I think I was able to see like the importance of that live content, of like the context of you can take a photo, you can take a selfie on stage, whatever it is, tell people about this, like we played in front of 5,000 people, but having that video is priceless. So we were looking at that Oktoberfest performances. This is essentially our album release show for Honey Hounds.
That's cool.
So we had planned that out. We had planned the release date. We had planned the whole production behind it. I think a lot of people forget too, is like we invested a lot of the pay from that show right back into the production. And, I've learned that from just even listening to people talk about Coachella and, the headliners taking a lot of their pay and just saying, screw it. We're going to put it back into the production of the show because it's going to have such a large impact that it goes beyond that performance.
Yeah, I think I've spoken to coming from just like the pay aspect of it. Like I've spoken to people where they talk about just like the money they make on the gigs is often just put back in, and they're really relying on merch sales and other sources of revenue to kind of pick up the slack on that.
Yeah.
So that is a super important thing to do, is to, for any original bands out there that are really trying to do it, making sure that you're at least allocating some of what you're making to marketing and advertising resources, or to studio time, to make sure you're able to put something out. Like content is king